Good morning. This is Thursday, March 17th, 2022, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you. Thank you, Dwight, for the fine prelude music this morning, and we want to thank Stanberry for handling our tech needs. I'm Joe Driscoll, and we have Brad Yoder here with us today for our devotion message. Brad's wife, we're pleased to have join us today. I understand Jeannie is a sister of Jan Rhodes. But before Brad comes to speak to us, he wanted us to sing all 5 verses of O Young and Fearless Prophet, page 374 in your blue hymnal. Nan Erball, here she comes now. She'll come up and lead us, and after we get done singing, then Brad, the pulpit will be yours.
Good morning. It's wonderful to be here with you this morning. Um, Thanks to Joe and to Dwight. And I'm sorry I missed your name. Thank you for leading us. Um, I've been speaking here in chapel at Timbercrest for quite a few years, but it's a little different from what it used to be because I used to just come down East Street. Now it's about an hour and a half drive from where we live in Noblesville on the northeast side of Indianapolis. And it's also different because about 6 years ago, Jan Rhodes invited her sister, Jeannie, to speak here at Timbercrest. And I came to hear her speak. And we reconnected at that point after being friends for over 50 years. And were married 5.5 years ago. And Jeannie and I expect to live here at Timbercrest sometime. We don't know yet exactly when, but probably after our children who live in Indianapolis graduate from high school. So probably about 5 years from now, unless things change before that. I don't know. It's a little hard for me to tell because of the masks, and plus my glasses are a little fogged up. It's a little hard to tell who's here this morning, so I don't know whether I know you all or not, or whether you know me. Our family is living with a big challenge right now because our daughter Sonia Yoder is living with stage 4 breast cancer. And for those of you who know our family, my deceased wife Marilyn died from breast cancer 23 years ago. So it's a challenge for us, and we're grateful for every day and every week that we have together. This morning, I want us to think together about the importance of doing the right thing, even when we're not sure that doing the right thing is going to have any positive or lasting impact on the people around us. I want to begin by reading a bit from Matthew 25, verses 35 through 40, and then from James. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. Was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you something to eat, or thirsty and gave you drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you? And the king will answer them, Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these, you have done it for me. And James 2, verses 14 to 17. What good is it, my brothers, if you say that you have faith but do not have works? Can faith save you? If a brother or sister is naked and lacks food, and one of you says to them, Go in peace, keep warm, and eat your fill, and you do not supply their bodily needs, what is the good of that? So faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. I don't know how many of you follow what happens at the Indiana General Assembly, but I want to share with you this morning a couple of experiences that I've had over the last couple of months at the at the Indiana State House, some of them negative and some positive. One of my biggest social justice concerns is the problem of gun violence in the United States, including in Indiana. I'm on the board of an organization called Hoosiers Concerned About Gun Violence. Every year, guns kill about 45,000 people in the United States and about 1,000 people every year in Indiana. That's 854 deaths per week in the United States and 19 every week from Indiana. When you think about it, it's like having 5 major plane crashes every week in the United States and a plane crash every other month in Indiana. I think that represents a serious public health emergency and a serious social justice concern. Most of these gun deaths are committed with handguns. The present Indiana law requires a person to get a license to carry a handgun. This includes a background check, which would rule out people who are under 21, have committed a serious crime, have serious emotional problems, or have abused a woman through domestic violence. A bill was introduced into the legislature this year which would end the requirement to have a license to carry a handgun. The National Rifle Association was pushing this bill. Hoosiers concerned about gun violence thinks that this would make us less safe, so we oppose this bill. Almost all law enforcement organizations also oppose this bill. We do know that handgun licensing laws work to keep handguns away from people who might not use them safely. States that have licensing laws have 3.3 gun deaths per 100,000 people, and states that don't have 5.5 gun deaths per 100,000 people, almost twice as many. I was one of many people who testified against the handgun licensing bill before the House Public Policy Committee. But the committee approved the bill and sent it on to the full House, and they passed the bill. Next, it went to the Senate Judiciary Committee. Again, I was one of many people who testified against the bill. This time, a majority of the committee actually passed an amendment that would have kept the handgun licensing system alive. But through a series of backdoor maneuvers, the Senate got the bill passed on the last day of the session. So now, only a veto from Governor Eric Holcomb will keep handgun licensing alive in Indiana. As I said, I saw this as a matter of social justice. So I choose to support keeping handgun licensing all the way through this process. I knew that we might not succeed, but I thought it was the right thing to do. In another bill that was before the Indiana legislature, the issue was solar electricity. The bill would make it illegal for homeowners associations to keep people from installing solar panels on their homes. Jeannie and I have enough solar panels on our house to produce all the electricity that we use. And I belong to several environmental groups who supported this bill. In this case, the bill passed, was signed by Governor Holcomb, and will be good for our little planet Earth. So the main point I want to make today is that I think it's important for us to have the courage to do the right thing, even if it seems that we may not succeed. The passages I read from Matthew and James tell us to have faith and to put our faith into action. Our model is Jesus of Nazareth, who did the right thing no matter what the consequences were for him. His faithfulness ended up getting him killed. For most of us, the price is not going to be that high, but doing the right thing can be hard. It's a little intimidating to go and speak to the Indiana General Assembly. Sometimes doing the right thing may cost us the approval of others, or there might be financial costs, or at least some emotional struggle. But I think the satisfaction of deciding to do what we think is right is worth any cost that we might bear. Jesus never testified before any government committees because there weren't any democratic governments then. But he did challenge the practices of his day that oppressed, harmed, or devalued other people. As the song we sang earlier said, Jesus was a young and fearless prophet, and his life is still a summons for us to serve humanity. So if we see something that is unjust or harmful, I urge you to find the courage and recruit others to join you in doing the right thing. And I think that God will be with you and will be pleased with your being faithful. Will you pray with me? God, we thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the gift of this day and the opportunities that come with today. We thank you that your nature is love, that you love us and you invite us to share with others around us. Sometimes you call us to do certain things to live out our faith. Give us the openness to hear your voice and the courage to follow through on what we hear you asking us to do to make a better life on our little planet Earth. Amen.